This is the Small Business Report, powered by PNC Bank, your weekly access to all the tools you need to succeed. Stay tuned next for expert advice from business owners, subject matter experts, and government agencies. Each week, right here, you'll learn tips on how to start, grow, and finance your business. The Small Business Report is supported by the DC Small Business Development Center, a partnership program nationally accredited by the Association of America's SBDCs and funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration, Howard University, with Howard University serving as the network's headquarters. Stay tuned. Coming up next, your host, Carl Brown, State Executive Director of the District of Columbia Small Business Development Center. This is the Small Business Report.
Hi, this is Jermaine Johnson, Regional President for PNC Bank. At PNC, we believe that we play an important role in building strong, vibrant, more self-reliant communities. Our responsibility to help drive meaningful change has never felt more important than in this moment. Visit pnc.com/diversity to learn more. The PNC Financial Services Group, Inc., all rights reserved.
Hello, this is Carl Brown, host of the Small Business Report on SiriusXM Channel 141, HUR Voices. Every Thursday at noon, we bring you the stories of small business owners and subject matter experts that can help you start, grow, or sustain your business. Please be sure to tune in every Thursday at noon on SiriusXM Channel 141, HUR Voices to hear the Small Business Report.
Winter could put a freeze on your finances with expensive car repairs. Do you want to deal with getting stuck somewhere because your car broke down? I don't, but I did. Standing in the snow was no fun waiting for a tow. That's why I have Car Shield. Taking care of a covered repair with Car Shield's administrators is easy. They handle all the paperwork and payments. Seriously, Car Shield could help save you thousands. And you get to choose the mechanic to do the work. Car Shield does the rest. Plans through Car Shield even provide coast-to-coast roadside assistance and rental coverage, all at no additional charge. That's why they're America's #1 auto protection company. Car Shield is the best defense against costly repairs that could put a deep freeze on your plans and finances. Visit carshield.com/report to save 10%. That's carshield.com/report. A deductible may apply. Welcome to the Small Business Report here on SiriusXM Channel 141. This is your host, Carl Brown, and today I have two very special guests. And I know you always say, Carl, you always say you got special guests, but these are my buddies. I got the State Director, Bruce Strong from Minnesota, and Chad Moore from Montana. The two M states, so M&M, they'll be in the house today. Bruce is a proud Air Force graduated summa cum laude from National College with a degree in business administration and marketing. And like I said, he is the state director for Minnesota. And you know, Minnesota is a big state and they got a lot of opportunities. They got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to find out what's happening and how you can get plugged in. And then we're going to talk to Chad Moore. He is the state director out of Montana. Can you believe it? Montana, yes. And Chad is a native of Montana, a graduate of Montana State University, and he brings extensive knowledge, small business knowledge, from his family-owned construction and retail businesses. So, folks, look forward to listening to these two guys. But the word of the day is consistency, okay? Be consistent with your products and services. Be consistent with your hours of operation. Be consistent with your customer service, all right? Always treat your customers with respect and diplomacy, okay? And what is the antonym of consistency? Well, let me tell you. Inconsistent and erratic. And neither one of those words you want your business to be known as, inconsistent or erratic. So, hey, this is Carl Brown. I'll be right back after these messages.
When you need to reach, teach, or engage your target market to enhance your desired results, this is where entertainment meets education. The Holloway Media Group will help you create, distribute, and edit your multimedia productions. Let our experts provide talent development advice and assistance using media to improve productivity of your workforce. We'll develop a customized program to meet your unique needs. We have your media solutions. Visit hollowaymedia.com for more information.
Hey, Small Business Report listeners, are you a small or mid-sized business? Let BDPAtoday.com help you leverage emerging technologies and digital innovations to transform your business.
BDPAtoday.com will highlight your organization's innovations, solutions, and success stories. Let BDPAtoday.com publish your branded videos, blogs, and photos to a national tech industry audience and assist with your awareness building campaign. With BDPAtoday.com, you can network with qualified and certified tech professionals and get access to developers, gamers, hackers, and interns to join your team for short or long-term projects.
Visit BDPAtoday.com for true digital transformation that will drive competitive advantage to your organization.
That's BDPAtoday.com.
Tune in to the Skin Deep Show with host Sharon Morton as she engages your senses and examines the issues affecting Black skin and its treatment in every facet of life, from beauty, health, and wellness to social injustice and mass incarceration. It's a show designed to stimulate your mind, body, and soul. Don't miss it. The Skin Deep Show, every Friday at 5:30 p.m. and Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on SiriusXM Channel 141 HUR Voices.
Welcome back to the Small Business Report here on SiriusXM Channel 141. And this is your host, Carl Brown. And as I promised, I told you we were going to have the big guy from Minnesota. Yes, Bruce Strong, the state director from Minnesota. And let me tell you, folks, when I first got on board with the Small Business Development Centers, Bruce was one of the first people that I met. And I tell you, he's a gentleman. He loves what he's doing. He is very, very kind. He is very committed to helping small businesses grow and develop. And so, hey, Bruce, welcome to the show and thanks for being on.
Well, thank you, Carl. You're going to make my head grow big, man. I've always appreciated knowing you. I've always appreciated working with you. I love what you're doing here with the radio program. This is awesome. The fact that you've been doing this for 6 years, telling everybody about all the great things that happen in the SBDC and all the things that we can do to help small businesses, that's just tremendous.
Oh yeah,
and I
love it.
I love your word of the day, consistency. That is a hallmark that we try and bring into our program. We always want to make sure we're meeting our customers' needs and that we're always consistent in what we do in terms of trying to help people and trying to help them get their businesses up and running or growing. And consistency is what it's all about. So I very much appreciate that word.
Absolutely. So Bruce, tell the audience about Minnesota, the Minnesota Small Business Development Center. What do you guys do? And a lot of the audience has heard what SBDCs do, but don't leave any stone unturned. Tell us everything.
All right, great. Well, Minnesota, of course, has the moniker. It's known as the land of 10,000 lakes.
Yes.
And it's actually got more than 11,000 lakes, but we won't quibble about that. And almost every one of them are just beautiful lakes. I invite, if you're not from Minnesota, I invite you to come out here. Carl, I'd love to get you to come to Minnesota sometime so we
I got to come up
show
there,
you
buddy.
around a little bit. Absolutely. Yes. That north shore of Lake Superior, man, that's worth the trip in and of itself. One of the Great Lakes, the Lake Superior is the biggest Great Lake. And that north shore along Minnesota's coast is just spectacularly beautiful. It's amazing. But Minnesota is a big state. Geographically speaking, we're about the 12th largest state in the country. We have about 5.5 million people who live here and call Minnesota home. We have one major metropolitan market. Unlike a lot of other larger states, we only really have one big market, and that's, of course, the Twin City area where both Minneapolis and St. Paul are together. They form the Twin City market, and about 3.2 million of the 5.5 million people who live in Minnesota live in the Twin City area. Other than that, there are 5 or so smaller, but still big metropolitan markets around the state: Duluth, Rochester, several others that make up the fabric. But overall, most of Minnesota is very rural. About 97% of Minnesota, in fact,
Oh,
is
wow.
rural, and it's a lot of farmland. A lot of
Okay.
beautiful, especially up north. Like I say, it's beautiful country up there, lots of forests and trees and stuff like that. But down in about the southern 2/3 of the state is pretty much farmland. So
Okay.
it's very green and very lush, and a great place to live and grow, and just a lot of really great things happening here in Minnesota. Uh, as far as the SBDC network is concerned, I've been state director now about 11 years of the Minnesota network, and it's just a tremendous place to work. It's a great group of people. We really enjoy what we're doing. We have 9 regional centers
Okay.
located all throughout the state. And each of those centers have about 4 or 5 different satellite centers. So in all, we have about 30 plus touch points throughout Minnesota. So folks can pretty well find us. We're pretty close to most everybody because those satellite offices are scattered all over and our regional centers are all over. We have about 175 business consultants who do work for us out of
Wow,
those
that's a
centers.
lot.
Yeah, it's a big network. We got a
It's a
lot of
it's a
people.
big operation, Bruce. You are running a big
Yep.
show.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's a lot of geography to cover. So, and we're not real densely populated, but 5.5 million, that keeps us on our toes. We're busy.
Absolutely.
So,
So what are
um,
some of the growth things that are going on? What are growth industries out there?
well, growth industries in terms of businesses, we have a lot of a lot of businesses. There's about 525,000 businesses in Minnesota. And only about 2,500 of those are considered large businesses by the
Okay.
SBA's standards. But of those 2,500, we're one of the states that has the highest number of world headquarters of major global corporations:
Okay.
3M, Medtronic, Best Buy, General Mills, Cargill, which is the largest privately owned corporation in the country. They also work around food. They do a lot with food, like General Mills and so forth. But United Healthcare is the biggest healthcare organization in the country. They're headquartered here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
So
all
we got a
household
lot going on.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot going on in terms of business and industry in Minnesota. But of course, at the SBDC, we're concerned more with the small businesses instead of the big businesses. But if there's 530,000 total businesses and only 2,500 are large, guess how many are small businesses?
That's right.
About 520, more than 527,000 of them. So again, we need those 175 people we got because we got a lot of people to talk to.
That's right.
Um, and of course, like most states, small business makes up the backbone of our economy. The small businesses employ about a little less than half of all the people in Minnesota. We're responsible for creating 2/3 of the net new jobs in the state. Um, and we export about 1/3 of all goods that come out of Minnesota come from small businesses. So again, there's a lot going on. Our SBDC, we see about 3,500 to 4,000 clients per year, and we do about 35 to 37,000 hours of consulting every single year
Wow.
here in Minnesota among those businesses. So again, we're busy. We help our clients secure more than $125 million in capital. In fact, that's one of the things that the Minnesota SBDC is best at, is that helping our clients find capital. And our clients start about 225 new businesses every year here in the state. And actually, through COVID, our numbers have been increasing, surprisingly. We've seen a lot of new business start as a result of COVID.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you have too.
I was going to say, yes, we have seen. I mean, I always say the Great Resignation is real because a lot of the people are coming in to our centers seeking assistance to start new businesses, and so we are very happy with that. But wow, those are big numbers.
Yeah. And there's a lot of change going on in Minnesota. When I wasn't born here, believe it or not, I was born in Montana,
Oh,
so
okay.
You'll talk to Chad a little bit later. I was born in Montana, but I've lived in Minnesota now for almost 50 years. And when I first moved here, everybody in Minnesota looked like me. It was a bunch of white Scandinavians. About 97% of our population were Caucasian Scandinavian people. The other 2 or 3%, we have a large American Indian population.
Yes.
We have 16 federally recognized tribes here in Minnesota on 11 different reservations. And so we've got a lot of American Indians. And we have a lot of, because we're a farming state, we have a lot of, not so much back then. Most of the workers that came here, the Hispanic farm workers, came as migrant workers. And so they would come, during the growing season, and then they'd go back south during the winter because they didn't like our winters.
I'm sure.
But that dynamic has changed tremendously over the last 40 years or so. Beginning kind of with the end of the Vietnam War, we have a very strong social service network here in Minnesota. And so we saw a lot of refugees coming from Southeast Asia, out of Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam at the end of the Vietnam War. And oddly, not oddly, because again, we have a very strong social service network. A lot of them moved to Minnesota and called Minnesota their homes. There were really two areas that they moved to in the country, Minnesota and California.
Well, look, we got less than a minute on this segment. Give them your website so that they can find you guys. Mm-hmm.
Very good. So we're at www.mnsbdc.com. So think Minnesota SBDC, www.mnsbdc.com.
Yeah, so hey folks, we'll be right back after these messages.
It's Madison, the Black Eagle.
This is Karen Hunter.
This is Clay King.
Al Sharpton.
Hey, it's Lauren Coates.
Hey, this is Godfrey. Sirius XM.
Urban View.
1, 2, 6.
Urban View is where Americans get to see what America is supposed to look like.
We are free to express our opinions as long as they're honest.
From sunup till sundown.
All are welcome, but be careful if you come in, because your life might be changed.
I'm super excited to be able to engage folks.
And that's what's happening right now. Urban View. Keep it real.
Channel 126.
Hello, this is Carl Brown, host of the Small Business Report on Sirius XM, channel 141, HUR Voices. Every Thursday at noon, we bring you the stories of small business owners and subject matter experts that can help you start, grow, or sustain your business. Please be sure to tune in every Thursday at noon on Sirius XM, channel 141, HUR Voices, to hear the Small Business Report.
It's the end of a long school day, and attending classes, library time, and meeting deadlines for term papers. But between work, school, and balancing a social life, it can be hard to find time to cook quality and nourishing meals at home. Meet Din Din. The Din Din mobile app and website make it easy to browse and order a variety of delicious heat and serve meals created by local chefs. Your curated premium meals are then delivered weekly, right to your door. It's time for Din Din. Download the Din Din mobile app today or visit eatdindin.com.
Hi, this is Jermaine Johnson, Regional President for PNC Bank. At PNC, we believe that we play an important role in building strong, vibrant, more self-reliant communities. Our responsibility to help drive meaningful change has never felt more important than in this moment. Visit pnc.com/diversity to learn more. The PNC Financial Services Group, Inc., all rights reserved.
Welcome back to the Small Business Report here on Sirius XM, channel 141. And I am talking to Mr. Bruce Strong. He is the State Director for the Minnesota Small Business Development Center. And you can reach them by going to mnsbdc.org. mnsbdc.com. Yeah. Okay, so
Thanks,
you a
Sean.
.com. I'm a .org. So yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruce, let's talk about the barriers and challenges the community faces in assessing or accessing the SBDC services and building a profitable business.
Sure. Well, as I say, and just to finish up on what we were talking about a little bit earlier,
Absolutely.
the demographics in Minnesota are changing drastically. As I said, we were originally an almost all white state, but now through several things that have been happening, we have the first highest Hmong population and Somali population of all states in the country.
Wow.
And our East African numbers are just skyrocketing. Immigrants are flocking to Minnesota. And so the demographics are changing to the point where by 2030, they're saying that white Caucasians will be in the minority here in Minnesota, believe it or not.
Wow.
So that's one of the challenges that we're facing in terms of small businesses is just the changing demographics and the changing face of the small businesses here in Minnesota. Obviously, we're trying to keep up. We're trying to make sure that everybody feels warm and included and welcome to come to Minnesota and start a business in Minnesota. We're here to help them do that. We partner with a lot of folks, but one of the big problems we face, as all SBDCs in the country, is a lack of visibility. SBA has not allowed us to market our program. We're really hopeful. We got our fingers crossed. There's a bill working its way through Congress right now, which will allow us to spend some money on marketing for the first time in history.
Right.
So we're really excited about that. But that's one of the big problems we face is people just don't know we're here.
That's right.
We're trying to do everything we can to make sure that they know that we're here. And again, as I mentioned, we have a strong social service network. A big part of that is because we have so many nonprofits in the state.
Yes.
I mentioned we're the land of 10,000 lakes. We're also the land of 10,000 nonprofits.
Okay.
So there's a lot of competition out there to try and help, and kind of a little bit of confusion out there in the marketplace, if you will, for business owners. They're not really quite sure who to go to. And again, we're trying to provide some clarity around that. But
yeah, you said 175 business consultants. That is an army of excellence. And wow.
And again, that's one of the biggest ways that we're trying to overcome those barriers of visibility is making sure that people just know that we're here, that we're present, that we show up, that we do events and webinars and training sessions, and our consultants are out in the marketplace. I'm just working on, believe it or not, trying to purchase a mobile lab, a van that we can use to travel around the state. and go out so that we don't have to wait for people to come to us. We can go to them.
See, and see, this is the kind of stuff that I love to hear, and I love my audience to hear it, because we are dedicated. The small business development centers are dedicated to helping you, and at what price? We're free.
Yeah, we're free. No cost.
We're free.
Exactly. Yeah, no cost. So we're also trying to take some of our own best advice. You know, when we go to help a small business, they're faced with a lot of the same challenges we are. How do you get known in the marketplace?
Yes.
And so we do a lot around social media. We try and promote the SBDC. You know, National SBDC Day is coming up on March 16th.
Yes.
We're going to be right there with social media and trying to make sure that folks hear about us and hear about our program. You know, all the good things that we do. And then one of the other things that we do is work with those 10,000 nonprofits. We try and partner with as many agencies as we can. And that's a lot of our satellite offices, our satellite centers are in nonprofit and government economic development agency offices.
Okay.
And so we try and help and partner with them. And again, we're always working to build trust. And I think you're working on the Inclusivity Challenge. That's a national movement happening in the SBDC program. We're working on that here in Minnesota as well. Again, we want to make sure that our minority and underserved populations know that we're here and that we're here to help them. And we're here to welcome them to Minnesota and welcome them to start a business. So.
Yeah, and you know that's part of what we do. That's just part of it. And like you alluded to, most of your state is rural. So how do you work with the rural businesses and the farming businesses? How do you get them to know about your services, and how do you reach them?
Well, again, it's all about that promotion. It's all about, especially on social media. But we work with the colleges and universities around the state, and a lot of them have agricultural programs, because agricultural products are so important here in Minnesota.
Yes.
And so again, we already have kind of our foot in the door with a lot of those colleges and universities that have ag programs out there. And we work with them. We're not afraid to work with an agricultural business. So it's not all just retail or manufacturing or any of that kind of stuff. We help just about any small business, including ag businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's important because that's how we eat.
That's right.
I don't want to stop eating. I mean, I might need to lose a little, but I don't want to stop eating.
Yeah. You and me both. I think we're okay in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's what else do you do to reach the communities of color, if you will?
Well, again, we try and design our marketing materials to speak to them. We try and make sure that we have consultants who can meet with them and converse in their own language. A lot of times, language barrier gets to be a problem. We've printed our brochure. We have an English version of our marketing brochure, but we also print it in Spanish, in Hmong, and in Somali languages.
Oh, yes.
So again, we always work with those nonprofit groups. In fact, I'm just going to meet with a group tomorrow that's putting on a Hmong conference for Southeast Asian folks. And again, we're always doing those kinds of things. We have our annual reports and our other publications and all that kind of stuff to make sure that folks, again, just know that we're here and that they know how to reach us and that they know that we can help them with whatever small business needs they might have.
So we got about 2 minutes left. You got any success stories you want to share with us?
Yeah, thank you. I want to mention one in particular. We've recently partnered with a national nonprofit called First Children's Finance. They're a CDFI, so they provide small non-bank loans to businesses, and they specialize in the area of childcare. And that's both
Okay.
starting in an institution like a child care center as well as at-home child care businesses. And I don't know how much you know about that business, but oh my Lord, you talk about complex regulations and the permitting process and all the things that they have to do to start and run a childcare business is just ridiculous. And it makes it very hard for those centers to be profitable. And so they have a specialized group of consultants who work exclusively with childcare businesses. And we got the bright idea to partner our business consultants along with a childcare consultant expert. And the two consultants work together now with those clients to work not only through all the permitting and all the regulations and all that stuff, but also to try and help with the business aspect of the child care center to make sure that it's profitable and it makes sense and they can find financing. And we've just had a tremendous success story up in the Brainerd Lakes area, which is kind of in the center of Minnesota. And I'm really excited about what this new partnership is going to bring, because childcare, that's one of the major barriers that our employers are finding to hiring employees is the employees can't find adequate childcare services. So
well, Bruce,
we're really
we got
excited about that.
20 seconds left, man. Give them your website again. And
all right. Well, thanks again, Carl. You can reach us at www.mnsbdc.com. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to help you with your small business.
Thank you, Bruce. Hey, buddy, I'll see you in San Diego.
All right. You got it, Carl. All right.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
You too.
Winter could put a freeze on your finances with expensive car repairs. Do you want to deal with getting stuck somewhere because your car broke down? I don't, but I did. Standing in the snow is no fun waiting for a tow. That's why I have CarShield. Taking care of a covered repair with CarShield's administrators is easy. They handle all the paperwork and payments. Seriously, CarShield could help save you thousands. And you get to choose the mechanic to do the work. CarShield does the rest. Plans through CarShield even provide coast-to-coast roadside assistance and rental coverage, all at no additional charge. That's why they're America's #1 auto protection company. CarShield is the best defense against costly repairs that could put a deep freeze on your plans and finances. Visit carshield.com/report to save 10%. That's carshield.com/report. A deductible may apply.
Every 14 seconds, someone, somewhere, learns they have breast cancer, the most commonly diagnosed cancer worldwide. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation unites the best minds in science. A global team collaborating across disciplines and pursuing their boldest ideas. The scientists we support have been involved in every major breakthrough in breast cancer research. Our progress can be measured in millions of survivors. By investing in every aspect of breast cancer research, we're deepening our understanding of how cancer begins and why it sometimes spreads. Only with your help can we maintain our progress. Only by saving research now can we save lives tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Small Business Report here on Sirius XM Channel 141, powered by PNC Bank. Folks, if you need banking and you're a small business owner, really take a good look at PNC Bank. They really care about their customers, especially small business owners. So check out PNC Bank. And when you go in there, tell them Carl sent you and ask for Jermaine Johnson. That's my man. He's the president. Jermaine Johnson, PNC Bank, folks. They'll take care of you. So as I promised, I told you we were going to bring my man from Montana in. Yes, Chad Moore is here. He's going to tell us all about the frontier state, Montana. And I'm telling you, folks, it is big, it's beautiful. And if you get a chance to go out there, check it out. I know it's not a vacation spot like the Bahamas, but Montana is still beautiful and it's ours. So check it out. So, Chad, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Small Business Report.
Hey, Carl, doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on your show. Appreciate the opportunity to discuss Montana and our program we have going on over here.
Yeah, you got a beautiful state, man. So it's big and beautiful. Why don't you tell people how big it is, how many offices you have, and how many folks you got working for you and all that good stuff?
Sure. So, yeah, our state is very large. I mean, large by land area. We've got about, I think, a little over 147,000 square miles. We've got just over 1 million people, right? So population density, 7 people per square mile, right? So it's a pretty rural state. So when folks talk about rural, we're pretty rural. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, we're kind of frontier in some areas. But we've got 10 centers across the state, distributed pretty evenly. But, each center manages a different amount of territory, a different amount of counties, varies from 3 counties all the way up to 9 counties. We're housed within the Montana Department of Commerce. We've been around for 33 years, established in 1989.
All
and
right.
We've had the pretty much the same structure since our inception, really, with the 10 centers across the state. One thing, I mean, that's pretty unique for SBDCs, as you know. I think we're one of 7 that's located within a state entity, right? And
yes,
our centers are dispersed across economic development organizations. Those are our hosts, and then higher education institutions. So we've got 6 in economic development and 4 in higher education institutions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So about how many counselors do you have?
We've got, in our core counselors, we've got 16 actually, and that was just something recent where we were given a little bit more funding to be able to add some on. But before that, really, we had a lot of one-man shows going on. So, for example, our Miles City region, we've got 1 person over there when we don't have our CARES folks, and she covers about 24,000 square miles on her own.
Wow, that's a big territory.
Yeah.
So do you guys do a lot of, even before the COVID, were you guys doing a lot of remote counseling, or how was your counseling actually done?
Yeah.
Prior to the COVID?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we were doing some remote, but, it really obviously ramped up around the COVID. And then we found, new opportunities, really, because like I said, it's a long ways to travel. I mean, in some of our regions, you go one way, it's a 3-hour drive. And I'm not talking because of traffic. I'm talking because of distance, right?
Right.
So we've found that some of it's, this online, this virtual, it's been really efficient for us actually to try to bring some of that on. And we're doing a little bit more of that, still keeping the in-person stuff as much as we can. But I feel like in order to improve our capacity, this virtual stuff works pretty well.
Yeah. What I found is that my numbers just blew up with working remotely, because now my counselors were like, well, I don't have to drive. So that hour in the morning, I'm working with a client. I don't have to drive home in the evening. So that hour in the evening is with a client. So they're adding more clients, and they're actually broadening their day. So it's not like 9 to 5, it's like 9 to 7. So they're counseling folks after hours. So that's what I found. So what services do you provide out there in Montana?
Well, so I mean, we provide a lot of your, we consider ourselves over here in Montana. I mean, since we are based out of the Department of Commerce, our lead center is, we're based with a lot of partner programs. So we've got great access to those types of programs. But what we focus on out here is 3 client segments. We focus on the pre-business, the startup, and then the in-business. And then we offer a host of services around those business entities. For example, business planning, loan packaging, financial projection, business management, financial analysis, feasibility, the cybersecurity awareness, buying a business, selling a business, and then market research, along with a lot of other topics that are specific to the entrepreneurs and business owner needs. So,
yeah, that's good, man. I like that. You know what I found in looking at my numbers of my webinars, marketing, social media. The numbers of, like 80, 90, 100 people attend webinars.
Sure.
Cybersecurity, I'm begging people on the corner to come in.
Well, and that was, something, I mean, that's right. You're begging people to come in, but I think it's something that small businesses, I mean, I'm looking at it from an awareness perspective. I think for those small businesses that are listening to this radio show, they need to realize that it's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yes.
I mean, I talk to my network and I talk to my counselors out there, and they're saying, look, we're not seeing demand for this. And I said, yeah, but you've got to drum up a little bit of awareness around it to help these businesses understand what happens when they're exposed to cyber risk. And so that's the approach we're trying to take, is just the educational approach. I mean, we're not experts, obviously, but we do have some good material available for these.
Yes.
Thanks actually to the Delaware SBDC and then our ASBDC program that we have going on.
Oh yeah. Mike Bowman in Delaware and his group, they're knocking it out the park. And years ago, actually, when Christian Conroy was the state director in Pennsylvania, I went to one of his cybersecurity awareness workshops, and it was really, really good, really good. But this is what I always ask people, and I know we're kind of like getting off topic, so I'm gonna be real quick. I always ask people, how many times did you swipe today or this week? And you always get the nervous laugh. 2 or 3, 4 or 5. And then I say, well, how, like say for instance, the corner store. I mean, you guys probably got the general store or whatever downtown.
Yeah.
And you go in, swipe your card. What IT department does that business have working with it?
Exactly.
None.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do ransomware, because that's what's happening with small businesses now, they're getting a lot of ransomware. That really shuts them down and closes them out and takes them out, because you either pay the ransom or you're out of business, because they already took all your data. And the other thing that I say and talk to people about is the cleaners. You take your clothes to the cleaners, you give them your phone number, your name, and your address. The only thing you don't give them, and you give them your credit card numbers. The only thing you don't give them is your social security number.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's very true. And it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because when we were out in DC, actually just recently for our meetings, and I don't know where this happened, but when I was out there, my credit card was compromised. So I had to cancel it in the middle of our trip out there. And that's, for me, obviously I've had it happen before, but it had been a while. So it's just the breach. And a lot of times these businesses, I think they get caught up really on the very technical aspects of it. But a large portion of that is just educating your employees. Hey, don't open these emails. Hey, don't click on these links. Don't be doing this type of stuff, right? So
hey, Howard University, we got ransomware right around the time that we had to submit our proposal to the SBA.
Oh, well, at least you had an excuse, right?
Well, hey, hey, let me tell you something, man. They were like, hey, you still got to get your paper in.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Yeah. Well, that's
we got a minute on this segment. Why don't you tell them what your website is so they can find out how to get to you?
Sure. So people can find us at sbdc.mt.gov, and they can find their regional centers right there with phone contact. They can schedule appointments right there on our website. There's obviously a lot of material that they can get off of our website, and they can also call us directly at the lead center at 406-841-2747.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. So when we come back, let's talk about some of the challenges businesses are facing in Montana and how your SBDC is helping them meet those challenges. Because right now with the COVID, there's a lot of challenges out there, and there have been for the past couple of years. So, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. This is the Small Business Report here on SiriusXM Channel 141.
Get your classic soul and Motown in Soul Town. For the Detroit sound of Aretha. To the Memphis soul of Al. Let's stick together. Or the funk of James. Wow, I feel good. And the hallway harmony of the Supremes. Make sure you stop in Soul Town, Channel 49.
Hi, this is Jermaine Johnson, Regional President for PNC Bank. At PNC, we believe that we play an important role in building strong, vibrant, more self-reliant communities. Our responsibility to help drive meaningful change has never felt more important than in this moment. Visit pnc.com/diversity to learn more. The PNC Financial Services Group, Inc., all rights reserved.
Winter could put a freeze on your finances with expensive car repairs. Do you want to deal with getting stuck somewhere because your car broke down? I don't, but I did. Standing in the snow was no fun waiting for a tow. That's why I have CarShield. Taking care of a covered repair with CarShield's administrators is easy. They handle all the paperwork and payments. Seriously, CarShield could help save you thousands. And you get to choose the mechanic to do the work. CarShield does the rest. Plans through CarShield even provide coast-to-coast roadside assistance and rental coverage, all at no additional charge. That's why they're America's #1 auto protection company. CarShield is the best defense against costly repairs that could put a deep freeze on your plans and finances. Visit carshield.com/report to save 10%. That's carshield.com/report. A deductible may apply. Welcome back to the Small Business Report here on SiriusXM Channel 141. And I'm talking to Mr. Chad Moore, the State Director for the Montana Small Business Development Center. And he is telling us all about what's happening in Montana. And Chad, before we went to break, I said, let's talk about some of the challenges that businesses face in Montana.
Sure. And, I don't think we're unique in Montana, when I talk about some of these issues, but, a large issue is the supply chain issues, right? Not just the supply chain issues, in getting the products, but also the, shipping costs. Shipping costs has just went crazy recently for some of these businesses. My parents, they own a small business. It's a furniture store. And my mom was talking about freight at 70% on some of this stuff, which is just extreme, right? But through the SBDC, we've been helping them identify options for diversifying their suppliers, to get those products in, looking at pricing strategy to cover those shipping costs, and then counseling based on business financials and creating a sustainable business model, because, that's kind of the key right now. And it's kind of like for the businesses that aren't getting product in, they have nothing to sell. For the businesses that are getting product in, they're selling the product, but it's at an increased price, right? Because they're taking on an increased cost. So another one that's big, and I think this was just exacerbated here in Montana by the pandemic, but the workforce shortage and what people are calling the Great Resignation, right?
Yes.
So, we're helping them look at their staffing patterns. We're helping them identify alternate talent pools, whether it be able-bodied, disabled folks, veterans, and trailing spouses, and even folks that have been in the prison system, felons.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But, the other thing they need to look at is paying competitive rates and their corporate culture and technology automation for efficiency and flexibility with this work from home stuff that's going on, right? I mean, so there's a lot of stuff that we can help these businesses explore when they come and see us. The other thing that, we're not super involved in, but in Montana, I talk about the workforce shortage. And right now, I want to say, I think our unemployment rate's like at 2.3%.
Right.
But again, we've had a lot of people leave the workforce. But the other issue that we're facing is we're getting a lot of folks moving in here. But not all these folks are looking for jobs either. They're working remote for other companies, but the housing situation, right? So how do you look at the housing situation? And so what we are doing here in Montana is obviously helping these entrepreneurs that are looking at being developers or looking at being builders and helping them develop their businesses. We're promoting voucher programs for employee housing and encouraging small business owners to look outside the box when developing employee housing options. And some businesses, they're buying hotels and other things to house employees. So it's pretty crazy. And then
wow.
Yeah. And then childcare. And childcare is an opportunity for small business and entrepreneurs, but really looking at that through the business lens and approaching the childcare. We're looking at different models through cooperative type models, assisting to analyze feasibility of on-site childcare, and then also feasibility of built-in employee benefit packages that help with the childcare situation. Because quite honestly, you've got folks that aren't in the workforce because of this childcare situation, right?
Yes.
And I think, like I said, it's been an issue, but just exacerbated by pandemic conditions. Those are a few of the situations that we've been approached with for our SBDC and how we're handling some of that.
And I just want to point out to the listening audience how we strategize to help small businesses to improve the lives of not only their employees, but everyone around them. I mean, what you just said, was really phenomenal. This kind of stuff that you guys are doing in Montana. I applaud you for that. So, let's talk about the impacts of COVID and the industries most affected in Montana.
Yeah. Well, when you mentioned, that Montana is not necessarily a destination like Hawaii, right? But we do have a large tourism industry, right? We've got 2 national parks. We've got part of Yellowstone Park. We've got Glacier National Park. And when we went through the shutdown, those parks were closed, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that really affects those businesses that are supported by that tourism industry. But fortunately for us, when those restrictions were lifted, they really, really saw a boost in the tourism industry. So it's coming back around, but there's some lagging issues there. Obviously, retail, like we talked about with supply shortages, freight costs, reduced foot traffic, things like that have been going on. And we're starting to see some of that come back around. We're starting to see people out more. I think Montana was pretty lucky where we weren't shut down a very long time. I want to say it was like a 6-week window. And then some of the businesses were kind of restricted for longer than that, like restaurants who were also experiencing problems. And they experienced problems because of the shutdown. They weren't able to be open, but then they also experienced problems when they were reopened and had to have reduced hours and reduced seating, right? For for space requirements, but they're still battling the staff shortages, like I mentioned, and unable to be open during regular business hours. So that's obviously hurting. And then the other big one that was impacted is property holding companies with residential and commercial rental property and real estate out there, right? You've got issues with, well, not issues. I mean, you've got this new world where a lot of folks are working remote, right? So what does that do to some of this office spaces? And then with some of the residential, we had some scenarios where, you know, there was a lot of unpaid rent, things like that going on through some of this. And so, you know, those types of businesses were facing some major struggles, and I think they're still facing some struggles. And then again, we had some that did really well too. I mean, one that I can think of off the top of my head is meat processing, right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, this big demand for meat processing came about, and existing meat processors were overwhelmed. I mean, we've got a success story of a meat processor that we helped out that saw business double, right?
Wow.
Because of the situation. So, you know, so there was some good things that happened that continue to happen, but then there's these bad things with some of this lagging stuff that's still going on.
Yeah, let's talk about the rural communities, the rural businesses. You know, how do you provide access to the SBDC services in your rural communities?
Sure. So like I mentioned before, you know, Montana is pretty darn rural, quite honestly, with the population density of 7 people per square mile. But what we do to help these the rural businesses or get our services out to these rural businesses is we meet them where they are. But
yes,
again, talking about, I mean, like I mentioned earlier before we were on, the population of the two areas that we serve, Carl, are very similar, right? You serve around 1 million, we serve around 1 million. The difference is that your population density in the DC area is 11,535 people per square mile, right? So you know, when you're talking, you know, it's apples and oranges when you're talking about that as far as that goes. But what we're doing to help the rural population is, like I said, our centers are pretty well dispersed. One issue, and like, again, we're not unique in this situation, but is access to broadband, right? So we've worked with county libraries to offer, for example, hotspot checkouts, right? For folks to be able to get to our services. And then obviously they've got on-site internet access that folks can access our stuff. We've supplied computers to local communities where there is good access at, let's say, you know, a chamber or different places where it's dedicated for somebody to come in and work on our services. But really this virtual stuff has helped us reach more of the rural population, because quite honestly, we have pretty good coverage. And that's what we're leaning on. And then obviously our partnerships across the state and the partnerships that we have within our department here at the Department of Commerce, and the referrals and these partnerships are just extremely important in serving the business needs across our state. It helps us.
We got 30 seconds. Give them your website again so they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so sorry, Carl, going a little out there, but
that's fine, man. I love it.
Find us at sbdc.mt.gov and reach us directly at the lead center at 406-841-2747.
Chad, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Good seeing you.
Sounds good. Great to see you as well, Carl.
You've been listening to the Small Business Report, powered by PNC Bank, your weekly access to all the tools you need to succeed, with your host, Carl Brown, State Executive Director of the District of Columbia Small Business Development Center. Stay tuned to HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141, every Tuesday and Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, for expert advice from business owners, subject matter experts, and government agencies. Each week, you'll learn tips on how to start, grow, and finance your business. The Small Business Report is supported by the DC Small Business Development Center, a partnership program nationally accredited by the Association of America's SBDCs, and funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, Howard University, with Howard University serving as the network's headquarters. The Small Business Report on HUR Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141.